Today we're talking about violence. Not a very good subject, not a very happy subject. I do like to have a laugh, but violence in society, I had to ask the question. So stay tuned. Hi there, welcome back to Imey's Place. I appreciate you joining me again. Thank you to all my subscribers, and for those new people that want to become a subscriber, just hit that little button down below and you too can hear the words of wisdom that comes out of this mouth. Okay, I look forward to you joining us. There's lots of things on this channel. Now, I was going to continue on with the life series that I mentioned yesterday or the other day, but then I thought, no, hang on a second, because I've had a bit of a conversation with somebody and I've had another couple of responses to something that I said in the first life video, and that's about being belted when I was younger, right? Our generation, that's what happened to us, we played up, we got smacked big time, we got smacked with belts and rulers and all types of things. And that led to a conversation about violence. And I was a bit intrigued about violence a while ago because I was brought up in a fairly normal household, right? But the area I was in at the time could be fairly violent, right? So I've never considered my father's taking his belt off and smacking me as a form of violence. Whereas I was speaking with somebody else and they said, yes, that is violence. I mean, I never smacked my kids. I did at the very start, and then I realised I was becoming my father with my stepson. So I stopped smacking him when he was about 5 to 6 years old, and then the other two kids, my natural kids, I've never really smacked. I mean, just my demeanour and my mouth was enough to slow them down on anything that they needed to be pulled up on. But it brings me to the thought of this violence. I mean, I've never seen it as violence, but it's been explained to me, yes, it is violence. I mean, when teachers hit and when other people hit your children, not their own children, I'm talking about other children, whether it be police or scoutmasters or whatever the scenario, a boss, a teacher, a lecturer, whatever, right? Nobody else should touch your child. Nobody should be in a violent situation with a child, even their own children, right? A lot of us old people, as we say, said, oh, it never hurt me, I got through it, I copped a belt and then I turned out all right. Yes, a lot of us did, right? But a lot of us didn't. My brother copped a lot more beltings than I did, but he was a little bugger. He was in trouble all his life. He ended up going in and out of jail. Now, did those beltings stop him in any way? No, they never. He just continued on doing what he was doing. So, the punishment of capital punishment, not capital, but corporal punishment, when you're hitting people for the sake of hitting them because they've done something wrong, does that really make sense? I mean, I mentioned that my stepson, I used to smack my stepson. He's a horror. He spent a lot of his life in jail. We've since separated from his mother and so forth, so he did live with me for a while after that separation. But he was just one of these people that was destined for jail, a little bit like his uncle, my brother, right? Didn't matter what happened, they still was never going to affect their behaviour. Doesn't matter how much corporal punishment they got, right? When people go to jail, they generally go once or twice. Not a lot of people learn in jail, and that's a violent place. Jail can be very violent, I know. I've had short stints there, not big ones, but short ones, right? But, so does violence really do anything? Does violence solve anything? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. I'm not a pacifist by any means, but I'm just looking at violence as a whole now, and I look at it as no need for it. There is no need for it, absolutely no need for violence in society. And it brings me to question a few people about violence in society. Now, look, I'll just go, I'll listen to what some of these people have to say and then I'll come back after that. Okay, I'll be back soon. Okay. Violence in society. Things that you see in society, I know I'm not really going on the media, but the violence in society, road rage, things like that, etc.
I just violence in society. I think just people have got to take time to slow down, and I think life gets so busy, everyone's on the move to get somewhere quicker, and that's where I think the violence comes into play. They're so, in a rush to get places, and violence just takes over. I think people have got to just calm down a little bit and take their time.
Generally associated with younger people nowadays, violence.
Violence is, I think, when you're unable to resolve things peacefully or civilly or through speaking with someone, then you resort to violence. So I think there's a lot of personal growth that needs to come to people who are violent. And that's me thinking of violence as in violent people.
Is violence in society.
Oh wow.
Whichever way you look at violence.
Yeah, that's actually true. I don't know why do we do violence. I guess when there is violence, people is really selfish. Needs a more, probably the society might need a more family values. So we can stop having violence, but something that is always on. We're humans too, so.
Violence in society.
I have no time for violence in society. I could go on about this. I don't know. I probably sound like a bit of a hippie here, but all you need is love. If we had more love, spread more love. Honestly, I see no place for violence at all. And it can start from the simplest thing, and probably hitting on a nerve here, but the simplest thing is smacking a child. We're instilling in them right from day one that violence is okay, violence is an answer, violence is a solution. So, no, I just don't believe in violence of any shape, any form, and that comes right down to even making a sport out of violence, like things like boxing or that ultimate fighting contest thing, all that stuff. No, not into it.
So very interesting. Now, when I was doing the interviews, I specifically asked those younger people in particular about violence and how they see it in society. Because even though it was violent in my day, I see violence nowadays as a thing. I mean, nearly every kid walks around with a knife in their pocket. A knife in their pocket. I mean, we used to fight and do things, but we never used to carry weapons around with us. That was just a no-go. You look at kids going out now on a night out, getting punched and dying with one punch. Mainly because they're not expecting that punch. What happens, a lot of coward punches go on nowadays. Back when I was growing up, it was called a king hit. There's nothing kingly about it. It's a coward punch. And now it's been named rightly so. But what happens with a coward punch is that you are hitting somebody that's not expecting it. And when they're not expecting it, it takes all their senses away. They don't prepare for it. They're limp and they can really do damage when they hit the ground. Now, back in my day, if you hit somebody like that, you were the coward, right? Everybody would call you out on it. You never, ever hit anybody when they weren't looking, right? That is definitely a coward's punch. But that seems so prevalent. If we done that back in my day, and I hate to keep saying my day, but back in the time when I was growing up, if you hit somebody like that, your mates would turn on you. Your mates would call you a coward, right? That you couldn't stand toe-to-toe with somebody. So where has it gone? Where has that mateship gone where people think it's okay to just go and belt somebody from behind on a coward punch and think it's okay? See, that's a bit of violence I don't understand. That is now turned into a fact of life, especially with kids walking around after they're having a few drinks, in nightclubs where you get in a strip where you get a few kids together. When I say kids, I'm talking, anywhere from 18 to 30, I mean, they're still young, but they're still silly, lots of testosterone in the boys, and they end up doing these things. And they carry knives. Knives now, so many stabbings, right? Is it because they've been watching playing too many games where in the game they can stab somebody and then, a couple of seconds later that person gets up and runs away? Do they think that happens in real life? Are they desensitised by playing all these violent video games now? Are they desensitised to the violence when it's actually there? Does it take away their sensitivity? It's something on about, children now watch so many murders. Right? They see it on the news, they see it on TV, they see it on all these crime shows, they see it everywhere in their life now as these murders, and have they become desensitised? right? Back in our days, I mean, yeah, okay, gangsters shot each other, cowboys and Indians, but you never seen the veracity of the violence that goes on nowadays. I mean, if somebody was shot, he went, oh, pretends to be dead, you know, put a little red handkerchief out of his pocket, oh, they got me, you know. But the violence that kids see nowadays is graphic. It's graphic violence. Are they desensitised by that by the time they grow up? So it doesn't affect them that much. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, you can put your thoughts in the comments down below. But thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. And you can share this video, and that'll be good. And subscribe for your subscribers, and you know, stay safe. Stay safe out there. You know, we don't want anybody else hurt. All right, so stay safe. And I'll get back into the live videos next time. All right, thanks for your time.